Today I was very happy that the marriage of my choice took place. I planned a marriage for Alexa. I saw her and fell in love with her at first sight. She was so beautiful that I immediately sent a proposal to her house, and she agreed because I had got a job, but no, that's why the girl's family agreed, and the proposal was for a period of 3 months. After waiting, today my Alexa marriage was done, and she left and came to my house for 3 months. I kept dreaming of her closeness. These 3 months were like 3 months for me. The days in my love seemed like centuries since my relationship with her was fixed. Her body kept on growing. She was a very beautiful girl of 22 years. I was 25 years old, and I myself was very happy today seeing us at the wedding. Everyone called us the pair of sun and moon. She was Annabum's daughter. That's why I did not ask her about her character, what kind of girl she is. I am just interested in her. Hassan had become pregnant, and she was the daughter of my mother's relative, so I needed her. I did not present myself for investigation, as these things are not required among relatives. As soon as I entered the room, then I saw that Alexa was sitting with her veil removed. I was restless to see this scene for a long time, and I slowly took a step towards her and sat in front of her. I felt her hands were trembling. She was definitely nervous. I don't know why she looked at my face. A smile came on my face. I really liked the shy and nervous bride. I saw her. I took her trembling hands in mine. As soon as I held her hand, he immediately pulled his hands back. I started laughing at his action. I understood. I thought she was a very shy girl. Maybe I liked shy girls. That's why I liked Alexa, and I told her that you don't need to worry. No, I will love you very much. You are my first and last love. I lifted her veil, and she was looking very beautiful. It seemed as if an angel had descended from the sky. She has come to my room. I was considering myself lucky. I started praising her beauty. I started reading, but there was not even a slight smile on her face, so I got a little upset because the bride is very happy when the groom praises her. Okay, she was very shy, but she could have smiled. But she was not smiling at all. It seemed as if she was crying. I tried to get closer to her, but she suddenly grabbed her stomach, said I felt I was having a severe pain in my stomach, which was beyond my tolerance after listening to him. I got worried. A while back I was feeling very happy. Now I am getting disturbed by her gestures. I started getting angry. I felt that she was not in any pain and she was making excuses so that I don't want to come close to her. I told her, okay, I will give you the medicine. I came out of the room thinking, what should I tell my family members about my wife's death? But I don't know why I am thinking that he needs a tablet because he has a stomachache. I was feeling very strange. Everyone in the house was asleep. There was chaos in the lounge. At that time I started looking for the medicine in the lounge, and I found it and took the medicine. I was about to turn around when my cousin, who was my maternal uncle's son, saw me there. He put his hand on my shoulder, and with a bright smile on his face, he said, everything is fine. I said, everything is fine. My wife is not well. That is why I was taking medicine for her, and my cousin told me that girls get married, that girls make such excuses on the first night, especially those girls who are not able to get married to their husband if she doesn't like it and the marriage doesn't happen as per her choice. She makes an excuse of illness. Surely your wife is also pretending to be sick for the same reason. Maybe she has some suspicion about you. I am not interested. If she was happy with the marriage, you would not have left the room right now. I had to leave. My cousin's words had set me on fire. I was angry, but I did not want to spoil the atmosphere of the wedding house for a while. Earlier I was thinking that maybe my wife might really have a stomach ache, but now after listening to my cousin's words, I felt that maybe he was telling the truth. Is it really true? She is not happy with Alexa. If she was not happy, then why did she agree to the marriage? As far as I know, her family had decided this relationship with her consent. Then I realized that my cousin has put a demon inside me. People say such things against my wife, so that the relationship between husband and wife is spoiled. Well, I remember my uncle's son, who used to talk to me about this strange thing. He was talking to me, and he was very fond of getting married, and he was not able to find any girl. But maybe he was jealous of my marriage, and that is why he did this, so that my happiness would be destroyed. I shook off these thoughts, and when I turned towards the room I saw Anabi sitting with her hands, and looking into her eyes, tears are flowing. I immediately went to him, gave him medicine and water to drink. I told him that she should take some rest. Whatever she was my wife, and it was my responsibility to take care of her. It was my responsibility to wait for half an hour for his stomach pain to subside. During this time, I wanted to talk to her, but it felt like she was not in the mood to talk at all. It was happening that she was in a lot of pain, and she didn't want to hear or say anything. feeling dejected, I started playing games on my mobile. I was playing games on my mobile for a long time. I kept playing, and then I looked up from the mobile and I felt very sad. That night I had dreamed a lot that I would find my love. We will start a happy life. We will talk a lot about love with each other. He will express it, but I did not even express my love openly. And I was not able to sleep. My love was such a beautiful girl who now it was my wife. She was in front of me. How could I sleep? I shook her head and told her to sleep. When I tried to wake her up, she was half asleep, and she just said that she was in a lot of pain. She wanted to sleep. I too went to sleep feeling dejected. What else could I do? When I woke up in the morning, she was normal, and I was also normal. I regret spending the first night of marriage like this. I was very upset, but I said that it was okay. The poor girl was not well, so it was no big deal. No, in the morning I found her fine, and I expressed my love to her openly. But I told her how I fell in love with her at first sight and wanted to marry her at that very moment. I had decided to do it. She became happy after listening to me. She was looking happy. She was smiling and blushing. But seeing her attitude, I felt very happy, and I understood that he was really not well at night. But as soon as I went to his, when I started getting closer, she again grabbed her stomach and said that the pain had started. I felt weird after hearing him say this. Till a while ago she was fine. How could she have started having pain suddenly? I didn't even take her to the doctor. I could have taken him to the doctor. What would people think if I took my wife to the doctor on the very first day of marriage? Why have you brought this kind of things here? It was considered very sad that marriage, these things should be taken to a doctor, or Hakim on the very first morning of people used to give it a wrong color. I knew he was in trouble, but if I took him along, if I go to the doctor, people will start complaining. The environment in my family is such. People were filled with jealousy. My own relatives were filled with jealousy when I got married, but a lot of money was spent, and the wedding was very grand. We did not celebrate that much. He was not rich, but spent more than his means on the family. Other people did not spend so much. They were frugal. There was a state of misery around us in such a situation. If I had taken her to the doctor on the very first morning of our marriage, or I had an idea of where the matter could have gone if I had brought the doctor home. I told her to take some rest. I switched off the room lights and came out. My family and other relatives who were at my house for the wedding, and they were still spread out till now. They guessed a lot by looking at my dejected face. I thought he didn't say anything to me, but his eyes said a lot to me. I was trying very hard to hide my sadness and despair. By doing superficial things, I was acting very happy, but the condition of my heart was probably reflected through my eyes. I came back after a while. So I saw that after a while, when I came back, I saw that my wife was lying on the bed, not present. The sound of water falling was coming from the washroom. Maybe she was taking a bath, but when I looked at the bed sheet, I lost my senses. I had never even imagined such a scene. The white bed sheet with red stains on it could have told me a different story. She was telling me what was happening. I did not know. After a while, my wife, when I came out of the washroom after bathing, I was very angry, and I told him about these stains. When I asked her about this, she became worried, and it seemed as if she had caused these spots herself, had not noticed, and had gone to take a bath. She was stunned and started looking at the bed sheet, and I was very angry. I asked him a lot of questions, but he did not give me any answer. When he did not give it to me, I said, I want an answer quickly. What is all this? Otherwise I will go right now. I will divorce you right now. Hearing this threat of mine, she became even more upset. She came close to me and put her hand on my lips and begged me to kiss her. I said, I will not give you divorce. Then tell me, what is the reason for these spots? She told me, she said, that if you give me a month's time, I will tell you everything, but a month's time. I can't reveal this secret to you before that, otherwise something very bad will happen to him. I could not believe what he said. I thought he was making excuses without any reason. I told her that I need answers to all the questions right now. You didn't answer them at night either. You didn't let me come close to you even in the morning. Your attitude was not good with me. And now, this I married you out of love, and was so blinded in love that I did not even conduct any investigation regarding you. But now, I don't know why I am starting to like your character. I feel that by marrying you, I have achieved something. I have made a mistake. After all, what kind of secret do you have that I told you 2-3 months ago I couldn't tell? I was speaking angrily, but in a low voice so that my voice could be heard. Do not go out of the room. If the sound goes out of the room, then it will be my disgrace, and Hasidin will be happy that my marriage has got off to a bad start. Whatever the circumstances were, but I did not want to please my dean. I wanted to make those people happy. I was one of those who don't tell their secrets to others, even after their death, especially those who care about our happiness. Seeing my anger, Annabelle became upset and started crying. It felt like tears were flowing from her eyes, and seeing her cry gave me a jolt of heart. I felt that whatever it was my love after all. How could I find peace after seeing her crying? I told her to stop crying. I put her on the bed and opened the door to the room. We both were unaware that the neem tree was open. When I made my wife sit on the bed, she started crying and pleading with folded hands that please don't tell this to anyone, don't tell anyone this secret of mine. Keep it a secret. My honor is now in your hands. Please understand the matter. Do not ruin your and my life by taking any wrong step. She was complicating the situation further with her talks. When I heard a voice from my corner, on hearing this I turned back quickly, and my wife also started looking back and forth. I quickly wiped my face from tears. My same cousin was standing in the middle of the door, and he was looking at both of us with suspicious eyes. Then he came forward angrily and said that, "What happened, Niab? Why are you crying? Did Rashid say anything to you? Tell me, I will go and tell everyone right now that I got angry after seeing my cousin," in this tone, and I started looking at her. But my wife suddenly started looking at me and lowered her eyes. I immediately told her, I consoled her and said that there is nothing like that. Actually, your sister-in-law was crying because she was missing her family. But I understood. I have given it to him now. He is fine. I was really angry at my cousin at that moment. After all, who is he? The person who was talking to my wife with such affection seemed as if he was my wife. I am not meeting him for the first time, and my wife blossomed after talking to him. As if she had met me, there was no fear left. I could barely control my heart for the ritual of Alam. That cousin of mine had become angry. I don't know why. He started feeling strange to me again and again. I used to look at my wife on some pretext or the other, and my wife also used to enjoy his jovial nature a lot. She was replying, but despite this, I kept smiling with difficulty. I felt ashamed of my family. There was no need to settle scores with the relatives. After the wedding functions were over, all the relatives went home. We were leaving. Alexa had already gone to the room after meeting everyone. Then my aunt, who was a laborer, she asked me to call her when as her husband came into the room to pick her up, when I went through the open door and saw that scene. My steps fell in the same direction. My love went away in the condition of Munjampali. My wife was with my brother so much I was standing close by. Then, seeing my reflection in the mirror, my brother straightened up and said, "Come, brother." Actually, a safety pin was stuck in Bobby's hair, and he was helping her to remove it. It was clear that he had gone haywire. My mind was gripped by many thoughts. I felt like crying out loud. My wife, everyone except me, I was happily talking to him. What was I lacking? Once again, there were stains on the bed. They came before my eyes. Who came into my room after I left? Was it the character of my wife had fallen so low that I came out with a motherly mind and met everyone. My maternal uncle's family was about to leave when my cousin stopped while leaving, and immediately remembering something, he said, "I don't know where I kept my watch. I don't remember." At that very moment, my wife said that it is lying in our room on the side table. Only those two were present. The rest had gone into the mind, and I was the one who was to take Alexa with me. I was stunned by his words, first brother and then cousin. Who was it that my rights were robbed? My heart was split into many pieces. I lost everything. I was feeling hatred for her. I got married with so much love, and within 2 days of marriage it was my wife who made me fall in my own eyes. She looked so innocent and naive. I could not have imagined that it was worse than the good-looking Alexa. But it was worse than that. I also had a grudge against my cousin and my brother. I knew from the beginning what my brother was doing. He spends his time with 3-4 girls and a dotty and leaves his wife, but I had no idea that he was doing such a thing with his own Biabi inside the house. He could have done something, but my cousin Ayan was also responsible for my suspicion. After all, his watch was on me. What were you doing in the room? I immediately went to my room, took the bike keys and left the house. I came out. I wanted to be alone. All my dreams were shattered. I don't know when it became night. I don't even realize Mom and Dad are calling on their mobile again, and again I was getting calls. What could I tell them about what their new daughter-in-law was up to? I made some excuse and came back home in a short while. He was not one of those men who would cause pain to a woman by oppressing her or by using his manliness. I should take revenge for my insult by giving it to her. As soon as I came home, my mother gave me I scolded him and asked where he had gone, leaving his new bride, and I made some excuse. All the family members had finished their dinner and my hunger had already been satiated, so I said that I have come back after eating food from outside. Now I was heading towards my room. Today I have to go to my room at any cost. I wanted to have a word with my wife. Why did she cheat on me when I was in the room? When I entered the room, it was dark. I switched on the light and saw my wife lying on the bed in front of me. She was sleeping completely hidden in the blanket. I was extremely angry today. I had to clear everything to my wife. As soon as I removed the blanket, I felt sleepy for a few moments. Annabelle stopped on the bed in front and placed the pillows there properly. Like this, I went as if someone was sleeping. If my wife was not there, then where was my self-respect? She was repeatedly calling me. I don't know why, but my steps automatically went to my brother's room. I started moving towards her room when I heard some sounds of talking. That nasal voice was undoubtedly that of my wife, who was talking to someone. That voice was in the gallery it was coming from without creating any noise when I stood near the window and listened to it. Then the words collided with my soul and made me more anxious and furious. My wife was probably talking on the phone that Rashid should not know about you. You know, no husband can tolerate all this. If this secret gets revealed, then my life will be in danger. But it will happen. Last night, too, I kept them away from myself with great difficulty by making excuses. Otherwise, if he had known, I would probably not have been standing here. My wife Majid would also have been talking. I was listening, but my ears were not able to hear any more. I felt my breath stopping. What a huge betrayal Nabia had done to me. She had made a mockery of me. I walked slowly and came to my room. Then a nub entered the room and I saw her sitting like this. I was shocked to see him, and without wasting any time I asked him why he married me. Why did I agree to this when she liked someone else? Her words were not accepted by me. Her face turned pale and she immediately came and sat close to me and started saying that this is not possible at all. No, I love only you and I can't even think about anyone else. I can't. Every word he said seemed like a lie. I shook his hand and said, "Lie, don't say it." If that is the case, then why do you keep looking for excuses to stay away from me? And that stain, what should I understand from this? Alexa, she became silent once again on hearing my words and said that I will tell you everything, but for that you will have to wait for a whole month. I became silent. Due to seizure, now the matter of phone call was going on in my mind, my cousin, my brother, or someone else, who was the one who advised my wife to stay away from me. I was thinking that there was someone who knew my wife from a long time, but who was this? Thinking this, I started burning inside. My wife had slept. Now even my staying awake was pointless. Life too fell asleep silently, on its own path. I did not talk much to Gamzin Bia. My attitude in front of my family members, it was very good with him. I could not give them a chance to doubt me. The same Anabi. Apart from this, she used to talk to my parents very well, and also to my siblings. She took good care of me and helped me with the household chores, but she would never leave me alone at night. When she would come into the room, she would immediately say, "I am having pain in my leg," or "I am having pain in my stomach." It was clear from her manner that she was doing all this deliberately to keep me away from herself. We both were totally strangers to each other in a closed room. One day I went to the bathroom for some work. I left for work early, and it was already 10 p.m. when I got back home. When I reached, the room was empty. I looked all over the house, and she was nowhere to be found. Then finally I asked my mother that I am not able to see the Anabe. On my saying this, my mother glared at me and said this much: I quickly forgot that I had taken him with me in the morning. I had taken Ami with me, see. This time it was my turn to be surprised. I said, "When did I take Navia with me?" So today I left the house early. And then on hearing this, Ami Choki started saying that you yourself, I had told my younger brother to send him to Amband. I would leave him at his parents' place and also go to work. I will go. I started looking at my mother with surprise. Worry also appeared on my mother's face, but soon I took control of the situation and said that yes, I had said it, and told her to her parents I had also left it. Actually, I was so stressed about work that I forgot to tell my mother about it. I felt somewhat relieved. I went into the room burning with anger in my heart, and finally, my wife had gone out with my brother. I got very angry. I was thinking that I looked at the table in front where Alexa's mobile was kept. I remembered the call from that day. I opened my mobile and started checking the call history. Luckily, the history was deleted. I was not shocked to see the name that appeared on the call on that date and time. I thought that it was written Pari there. Pari was Anaya's niece's name. I still had my doubts. I dialed the number, and after a few moments I heard a male voice from the other end. I felt as if someone has pulled my soul away, saying, "Hello, Alexa," again and again. I kept calling him. That voice was totally unfamiliar. It was neither my brother's nor mine. This voice of my cousin made me very angry, and then many incidents came to my mind. Was this voice of Anabi's? My thought died right there. I heard Annabelle, he hit it with full force on the ground, and after 5 minutes the pieces of mobile were found inside the body, and seeing me in anger, he became very angry and his face turned pale. She started saying, "What happened, Rashid? Why do you look angry?" All she had to say was that I slapped her on the cheek and she fell on the ground. I pushed her away. I asked him, "Who is the person you went to meet today?" He looked at me with surprise. She started watching it, when suddenly she felt like vomiting, and she went to the washroom crying with her hand on her stomach. Her condition had forced me to think of something more. When she came out, she started crying. Her face had turned pale and she started crying and said, "I fold my hands, please do not make such disgusting allegations against me. I have never had such a relationship with anyone. I made it, and I will not make it again. Just trust me and see." Saying this, she fell on the ground, she fell down and became unconscious. I was not able to think of anything in her condition. At that time there were storms raging. He had betrayed my trust, and now this is my condition. Majid was troubling me. Now the thought started coming in my mind that maybe she is with someone else. She is about to become a mother. Then my younger brother entered the room, and I saw her fallen and immediately got furious and moved towards her and asked me what happened to Babi. "Hey, what have you done to them?" I pushed my brother away after seeing this act and told him to go to I slapped him and angrily asked him, "How dare you touch my wife?" I had never spoken in such a loud voice before. My mother heard my voice and ran to me, seeing me unconscious. She started questioning me, but what could I say to her? After we met, the doctor started her checkup. My mother was looking quite worried at night. It was 11 o'clock when Anabi came inside with her husband. Seeing them there, I was stunned. After all, who told them that we are here? Seeing Anabi, once again, instead of blood, anger began to flow through my veins. I was very restrained. She started telling that she had fainted. Then her brother-in-law said that some time ago there was a call from Nay Bibi. She did not say anything. That is why we went to her house to inquire about her well-being. But from there we got to know that I heard that you people brought him to the hospital after some time. I was suspicious of him. I asked the doctor in private if he had an anomaly, which made him furious. She evaded the question and said that she fainted due to low blood pressure. You take good care of her food and drink. She will get better. I saw you all the way. She also looked quite worried. I suspected my brother the most. Maybe it was him. I was aware of his habits. He must have done the same. I got a unique opportunity to come closer to each other. In many such ways, my brother and wife got close to each other. I started to feel bad about it. Time kept passing and 3 months were about to complete. I had thought that as soon as 3 months were over, there was no space in Annabum. One day I came back home early from work. There was enough space in the house. There was silence. I started going towards my room, and then I heard some whispering sounds. "Sister, I had lost faith in my wife long ago. She broke my heart long ago. I was done with it. Now if there was anything left, then she was my stranger. As long as she was with me in my marriage, I could not let him do this evil deed." I heard his voice speaking from inside. He said, "I was thinking that I don't know when these 3 months will be completed. I should tell Rashid everything truthfully. Believe me, I feel very bad to see her in such pain. She is my sister." I was talking to her when her sister said, "Let's go to the doctor tomorrow. Maybe he will be able to treat this. Can I tell you something that can end the distance between you and Rashid?" After listening to these words of both of them, I moved away from there. Annabelle, but why did I have to know this? Now I had to know it at any cost. As soon as the morning came, I went to work. I left the house early, making an excuse. Then at 9, I saw my wife leaving the house. I saw her going somewhere in a rickshaw, and I also started following her when something happened. After some time, she stopped outside a gynecologist's clinic. My suspicion now turned into certainty. Another wave of hatred was spreading in my existence. It went inside me for some time. Later I went inside, but I did not see her anywhere there. When I asked the receptionist about my wife's name, the nurse said that these are my wife's reports which came a while ago. You should take this to the doctor inside. Your wife should be there. I did not have the courage to open those papers and look at those reports. Instead of taking him inside, I took him out of the clinic and went straight home. From there I reached my room and started crying. I was really very sad. My first mohabbat, I never thought that my wife would betray me so much. After some time she entered the room with a pale complexion on her face and said as soon as she came, "You should know my truth." On her question I said that yes, I know it. Then she said again that now, so all your doubts must have ended and you must have started believing in my love now, right? I was surprised. What kind of love? What kind of belief? Before I could say anything, my wife reported. He opened it in front of me and read out to me the words he uttered. After listening to them, my being started trembling. I felt like the earth should split and I should disappear into it. My wife told me that I have a disease, because of which I am not able to live with my husband. I couldn't go close to her. My marriage was fixed soon, that's why my doctor told me to stay for 3 months. I was advised to eat unique food if I did not follow the doctor's instructions within 3 months, so maybe I would never have been able to become a mother. That is why I kept you away from myself, but today, the reports have come out absolutely fine. I am healthy now. My wife said these things. I was extremely embarrassed on hearing that the reports were true. I was ahead of time and I had thought many wrong things without knowing the truth. I was ashamed and asked my wife for forgiveness. I felt that Annabelle forgave me instantly. At that moment I felt immense love for her and for my thoughts. I felt ashamed. There are many moments in life in which we just misunderstand. They ruin their lives on the foundation, and at the same time, they use a little understanding and wisdom. If it is used, then many problems in our life will end. Go.